Welcome to the Connecting Life podcast. I'm your host, Dianaboskma, and here I like to connect the dots between health, nutrition, mindset, and everyday life to help you build a healthier and more fulfilling future, one step at a time. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's episode. So, today I'm going to continue with the Microbiome Spotlight series. And today we're traveling to Korea to explore one of the most famous fermented foods, kimchi. Now, many people have heard of kimchi, but not everyone knows its story. So that's why I'm going there today. So in fact, kimchi is much more than a side dish. It's part of a food tradition that stretches back for generations. So, let's imagine life before refrigerators. If you wanted vegetables during the colder months, you needed to find a way to preserve them. So, across the world, in different cultures, people have found very different solutions to that. So, here in Europe, people would ferment cabbage into sauerkraut. In Korea, communities developed what we now know as kimchi. And over time, kimchi became an important part of daily life. Families developed their own recipes, and that's kind of true for European sauerkraut as well, because some people don't put anything in there, other people put some caraway seeds or even other spices in there. So it's the recipes of making these fermented foods are kind of different everywhere. So in Korea, the methods were passed down from parents to children, as here as well. And obviously with the other foods all over the world as well. And a practical preservation technique became in a very treasured cultural tradition. So one of the things that I find fascinating about kimchi is that there isn't just one kind. And to be fair, you see that with sauerkraut as well, because some people use red, some people use white, and then the different spices. So there's not just one kind of any fermented food in the world. But many people picture cabbage kimchi, because that's the most commonly sold and used. But there are numerous regional and seasonal varieties, which is, I think, really cool. So this reminds me that traditional food cultures are just wonderfully diverse. There's so much variety. So these food cultures adapt to local ingredients, climates, and family customs. And another interesting aspect about kimchi is that the flavor changes over time. So fresh kimchi tastes quite different from kimchi that has been fermented for some weeks or even months. It's a living food, and it's constantly developing and changing. So when we look at traditions or traditional diets from around the world, you often see a pattern. People don't rely on a single food. People enjoy a variety of foods prepared in many different ways. Fermented vegetables, cultured dairy foods, broths, seasonal produce, traditional fats. And kimchi was one that was part of that much larger food culture. So today, many people are rediscovering these traditional foods and appreciating the knowledge that previous generations developed through observation and experience. And kimchi is just a wonderful example of that wisdom. Simple ingredients, traditional methods, and generations of practice to perfect it. And a food that continued to be enjoyed around the world until even today, because today it's kind of globally available, which it wasn't about 100 years ago. Thank you. So thank you for joining me today in another Microbiome Food Spotlight. I will have a handout available through my website so that you can have some practical ideas, some storage tips, and just a little tidbit of microbiome wisdom. So please go there when you want to do that. And then I hope to see you again next week with the next episode of my podcast, and we'll continue with the Microbiome Food Spotlights. See you then. Bye-bye.